Hey, what's up guys? And yes, as you can see, you read that correctly. It's the final episode, guys. The ending to What If Naruto was exiled from the Otsutsuki clan. I had to say it was a lot of fun creating and writing this series, guys. I just want to thank you all for enjoying. All the likes, all the comments, all the people that subscribe because of this video and this series. I really appreciate it, guys. But don't worry, because you know that new series are coming, guys. And I'm gonna make them just as badass for you guys to enjoy. So yeah. Also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Rewrote the Past, and enjoy that, guys. And also, stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over Anime King, which I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, for you to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and support. And yeah, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last part we left off, Kenji Otsutsuki came to Earth, followed by 4 others, along with Aizan, who was fleeing to inform Naruto about what was going to happen. Before Kenji could do anything, Naruto arrived. As he arrived in Hidden Stone, the Raikage confronted Naruto, but Kenji, annoyed by this, knocked the man away violently. As he turned his sights on Naruto as the both of them started a fight, as Naruto brought him outside of the village to keep him away from the innocent people. Kenji was one of the first person Naruto fought before he took on the rest of the Moshiki house. Kenji had gotten a lot stronger because his lord had gave him more power, so he believed that he could best Naruto. But that was a big mistake, as Naruto annihilated him. Naruto beat him so badly, he couldn't understand how. How did Naruto get so much stronger than him? Even though he was stronger in the past, but he was just so much more even now. As Naruto told him to go home and tell Momoshiki to come, it's time that he fight, as Naruto was openly challenging Momoshiki. As Kenji had to flee back home, as he would die otherwise if he did not. So with that out of the way, Naruto spoke to the other Otsutsukis, as they placed their faith in him, as Naruto gave them a job to do. With that, he made his way home, as he went straight to the council room, summoning the other members. It was Danzo, as Naruto found out everything, as he killed Danzo, as he told them all to remain quiet about this, though Uchiha has been through enough, as Itachi agreed with him, as bringing the past wounds would just hurt them even more. As Naruto went to spend some time with Mikoto and the others, as he told all of them, but he promised that he would come back to them. As Mito just got to know him, as she hadn't even known him that well, so she didn't want to lose him. He was her family after all, as he promised her he would come back. Afterwards, him and Ursa made their way towards the moon, where the half-breeds were. As Naruto wasn't here to fight them, instead, he told him to take him towards where the seal was, as they could sense his power, which was enough to annihilate them all. So they brought him toward the seal, as Naruto entered to find his mother, seal away. As he found the situation rather amusing, as she got what she deserved in his opinion, and he was gonna leave her here to rot. As Kaguya was angry, because she could not get free and know that Naruto killed Zetsu, but there was no way of her leaving anytime soon. She was gonna be stuck there, watching as the years go by, time after time. After that was over with, and they made their way back to Earth, It was time as Naruto told Ursa to go, but she didn't want to leave him. As Naruto pleaded with her, she created one of her cubes so that she could watch what was going on from where she was. As Mikoto and Tsunade would want to see what was going on as well, because they must be panicking right now. As there were several individuals coming from the heavens, coming down towards them. As she made her way back to Konoha as Naruto turned his head towards where they were all coming down. But Naruto was not the only one emerging. Ishiki was also emerging. Hearing this, he would openly challenge his own son and Momoshiki. And once he took the both of them down, he would be the ruler of the Otsutsukis. He will be the one and only ruler. And his goal of becoming a god will be fulfilled. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. They landed as they hit the ground. All of the different houses. There was a lot of them. All of them dressed in their formal clothing. All different color of hair. But their eyes all showed that similar Byakugan. As they all looked around the earth that they landed on. As they all came down towards a waste, barren field. But there was something over to the side. This is what Naruto had the Otsutsuki working on when he gave them the task to complete. As Aizen stood beside him along the 4 other Otsutsuki behind him. As their host was also here as well, the remaining members. They glanced towards their friends and families. As their friends and families were surprised to see them standing behind Naruto. Several people indeed were surprised to see Naruto standing there. He was actually here. As Aizen looked towards several individuals that he had spoken with. Several individuals that didn't want Momoshiki in charge. Kenji was also standing there. As he was angry, livid, he seemed to have healed up well from the beating that he received. But he did not approach any of them. As Naruto's eyes landed on Momoshiki's, the both of them looked at each other for a good minute. Neither of them spoke. Kinshiki stood beside him. Yorishiki was off to the side as he watched the whole endeavor take place. As Naruto stepped forward, as he marched, going up towards a massive group, the cube in the air was watching everything. Back at Konoha, Tsunade, Mito, Ursa, Menma, and Mikoto, all of them are there, in the Senju compound, as they were currently watching on a rather large cube, as he could see everything was happening right in front of them. A fearful look flashed across Mikoto's eyes. It seems like all of them would attack Naruto at once, and she was afraid. Menma gripped his fist, as he wanted to go and help his grandfather. Ursa narrowed her eyes. She didn't care what he had to say. If more than one of them jumped in on him, she would be out there in a second. She would gladly risk her life to save his. And fight with him down to the bitter end. Spending so much years with someone cement their friendship more than anything else in her life. And she was going to lose him to these damn bastards if they decide to jump against him. As all of them watched the scene, Tsunade was worried. She spent so much time angry at him. It was near to the end when she started to open up more and speak to him. And despite all the rage and anger she threw towards him, he showed her nothing but unlimited kindness. And now she was fearful for his life. Fearful that he might die as she saw the numbers. There were a lot of them. Back towards the scene, Naruto stopped at least 6 feet away from Momoshiki. The sky darkened as both men released an oppressive aura that seemed to tremble the entire planet. It started as a soft hum first until it started to vibrate rather hectically. But neither man moved or said a single word as they kept their eyes trained on each other, focusing, no blinking, not even a single step. They watched each other keenly. Momoshiki was the one to break the silence as he finally spoke. So, even after your defeat last time, you still challenge me. Can't you here tell me that your wish is to fight me for the throne. As Naruto nodded without saying a word, as Momoshiki threw his head back and laughed. Last time you were soundly defeated, but yet again you still want to fight. But this time though things are different. I am in charge. And once you lose, your head will be placed as a trophy on my mantle. And this planet, it is filled with so much life energy. I can feel the power surging through these idiotic beings. And everyone that you come to care about. I will absorb all of their power, killing all of them in the process, leaving this place nothing but a dry wasteland before I turn it into dust. As Naruto's eyes were firm, set on him, as Momoshiki then stepped back. Or perhaps I should just let them tear you apart. As he glanced back towards the other houses. Why don't you ask them, said Naruto. Momoshiki raised an eyebrow. Seems you've forgotten who's the supreme leader now. You speak like you don't give me the proper respect with me at the throne. You know, you should be on your knees, bowing. And that is exactly what I want you to do. So, bow, he said. The day I bow to you is the day I stop breathing. Momoshiki looked behind him. Bring him to his knees. As several of the houses stepped forward. Aizen stepped beside Naruto as Naruto raised his hand, stopping Aizen. All of you, said Naruto, have you really fallen that low? The position of king was set for the strongest of us all. And this pathetic scum is not that. Momoshiki clenched his fist at that, but he did not attack Naruto. I understand the position, and that you must all show your respect and give the proper admiration to the position, but for him to come in and change your houses, giving the order for you guys to kill each other, when our last king prevented us from rampaging through our own society, keeping us united even though we were the hardest person to deal with in this entire universe. We refused to get along. We refused to play nice, but yet we were all one in the same. The strongest of the strongest, falling to no past race. No being could ever put us to our knees because we were number one. But yet this buffoon, this idiotic man-child believes that he can just come and change things. I know that most of you want things to return back to where they were, to show your respect to the king, but to also have your houses return back to normal, to not be forced to do demeaning things because this child, said Naruto as he looked towards Momoshiki, is upset. And I, Naruto Otsutsuki, will return everything back to normal. I, Naruto Otsutsuki, will give you all your houses back. I, Naruto Otsutsuki, will turn us back into the greatest people in this entire universe. So choose. Stand by him. And I assure you, said Naruto, as bloodlust, so much of it released from Naruto at that very moment, many of them were shaking as they felt his power surge. And you will die. His tone was final. He could not show weakness because that was one thing he strive on, strength. And he could not show weakness here. He was going to unite them back, but he had to also show strength. That he had the power to back his words up. But step aside and allow me to brutalize this faker, and I will return things back they once were. I will restore us back to the beings that we once were. Choose. It is up to you. Enough of this, said Momoshiki. Put him to his knees now. Or have you all forgotten who's in charge here? And I mean now, he said, his eyes looking around at all of them with that glaring intensity. But no one moved. Momoshiki snarled. I'm gonna give you all to the count of 5 to do as I say. As he was pushing it, he was the king. They should respect and bow down to him. Because when I kill him, any of you that side with him will die. Izon, you four, the three of you will be executed afterwards. And that is final. And there is no going back. As he looked behind him, the others stepped away. Momoshiki snarled. Kinshiki stood beside him though. Momoshiki was the person he saw Yorishiki step back as well. As he gave him a dead glare, but Yorishiki looked away. As they were all staying out of it. The only two people that stood with him was Kenji and Kinshiki. No one else. Well, the people have spoken, Momoshiki, said Izon. They're staying neutral. Momoshiki clenched his fists. Doesn't matter. I'll solve the problem once I'm done with you, as he focused on Naruto. So then, are you gonna let your lapdogs fight me as well? Or are we gonna do this one-on-one, so I can crush you finally? Kinshiki. Kenji, step aside. It's time that you know who's his rightful king. I will burn this planet down into dust in front of your eyes, just to see you suffer. Let's see you try, said Naruto. Hold on there, boys. You're forgetting about someone, a voice said. I apologize for my late arrival, although I did overheard quite a lot of that. As Naruto gazed, shifted aside when he saw none other than his father. He was not in his original body. He had saw that from earlier, but he could still feel the power. It was him. As Momoshiki narrowed his eyes, it then clicked. Ishiki, he said. You're here as well. That I am, Momoshiki. You have grown. You have gotten powerful as well. But that does not matter right now. I put my hat in the race as well, to become the king of the Otsutsukis. What? Said Momoshiki. You heard me. Thus the rule have it. Anyone that feel they can challenge a king shall step forward to challenge him. But in doing so, your life is forfeit if you lost to your king to do as he see fit. And just like that, I too put my hat in the race. Once I take the both of you down, Ishiki said, the seat will be mine, and I will be in charge. Well, there's no problem with me, said Naruto. I get to kill the both of you at the same time. Quite cocky, my son. But I would suggest that you don't overdo it. I will give you a chance to repent after I put you down. You can still become one of my followers. I will not kill you. But this planet, it has outlived its usefulness. Once I take the seat, I no longer need it for my plans, because things will change. You, or anyone, is not touching this planet. And I can assure you, father, I will bury you, said Naruto. As Ishiki just looked at Naruto with a blank gaze. Well then, I can see that you created an arena for us, as he glanced towards the massive Colosseum. Shall we go, he said, as he turned his back. Momoshiki raised his hand, as his power started to surge, until he felt something behind him. As he glanced behind to see Naruto had flashed behind him. Try and kill him and I'll take your head. He's mine to kill, no one else. So you're having daddy issues, Momoshiki said. And yet you say I'm acting like a child. As Naruto simply walked past him, as Momoshiki was stopped by Kinshiki, who whispered something to him. Momoshiki nodded, as he made his way. He glanced over towards the Colosseum. It was large. These two had no idea what he has been doing over the past couple of years since he had banished Naruto. The power that he has gotten, how much stronger he has gotten. He didn't need Kinshiki for this. He has changed into a different being entirely. And he will show them by crushing them into nothing. As they all hopped in the arena, all the Otsutsuki stood in the stand. There were seats there for them to take part as they sat in their respective houses. As Aizan came over, using his chakra he activated the entire place. A bright glow and a massive barrier that went straight up to the heavens swallowed up the entire area, blocking anything from getting out. As Naruto looked towards Aizan and gave him a nod, Aizan nodded back. As the cube was quick enough to get in, as it stayed high in the sky, the three fighters watched each other keenly. Once again the air started to be saturated with power, enough so that the whole planet started to shake as they started to release pent up energy. As Naruto narrowed his eyes towards the two, who were watching each other keenly, until Ishiki spoke, breaking the contest of stares. "Are we gonna fight, or just stare at each other all day?" he said. As he had plans after becoming the king, and this was just a waste of his time. "I was just about to say the same thing," said Momoshiki. As he held up his hand, a raging inferno came from his palm and swallowed the entire area where the both of them stood. When the smoke cleared, neither fighters were there. As Momoshiki looked up, as a massive orb of chakra was coming down towards him as he leaped out of the way. The ground was demolished. Well, it seems that way, but seals spread all over it. As the ground was reinforced, Momoshiki landed softly. As Ishiki appeared behind him out of nowhere, a black rod in his hand as he twisted, aiming for Momoshiki's throat. Momoshiki ducked as he spun around a massive kick. Ishiki vanished. Well, more like shrunk himself down. Momoshiki Byakugan's activated as he twisted himself around, opening his palm. A surge of energy obliterated where he stood. As a tiny Ishiki jumped away, Ishiki reformed. He had to turn as he blocked a punch. An explosion of energy came out from the punch, slamming into his palm. As Naruto's fist was buried in his palm, he then had to hold out his left hand as he blocked a punch from Momoshiki as well. He reached out and grabbed their wrists as he pulled them back, only for Naruto to grip his hand with his other one and yank him down as he slammed a vicious knee into his face. Caught off guard by the speed, Ishiki took a step back as Momoshiki brought his hand around to slam it within Ishiki's chest. But Ishiki caught it. He spun and threw Momoshiki straight towards Naruto. Naruto held up both of his fists to drop it on Momoshiki's head, but Momoshiki backpedaled as he slid right away from Naruto. Naruto held out his hand as 4 rods appeared and shot, 2 towards each, jumping away from the rods. Both of them did. Ishiki could not shrink Naruto rods. As Ishiki vanished, once again shrinking himself, Momoshiki rushed towards Naruto, rage in his eyes. He thrust out a palm strike as Naruto blocked it. The ground trembled, the seals once again activated by the amount of force that was spread from that attack, and Naruto cancelling it out. As 3 rods appeared beside Naruto as he threw them, Momoshiki twisted his face as one of them grazed past him almost, tearing his face off. A cube appeared above the both of them as it came dropping down. Both fighters jumped away as the cube slammed into the earth. 3 more cubes appeared as they came dropping down. As Naruto held up both of his hands as they released a surge, forcing Ishiki to go back to his normal size as the place was demolished by Naruto's chakra. The 3 fighters stood there, up in the stands. All of the hosts were watching everything that took place. This was not the fight. This was merely a warm-up. They haven't even tapped into their power yet. To truly begin to work, this was nothing. Back at the Senju compound, over Konoha and the other villages, the people felt the nation shaking, but they weren't so sure what the hell was going on. But in the Senju compound, their eyes were glued onto the stream. As Ursa was on her feet, this was not what they expected. For Ishiki to join the fight, she had to explain who was Ishiki. The group was rather shocked by that. Naruto's father was here the entire time, they couldn't believe it. But she confirmed me that it was true. And now they were watching a fight of a century. She didn't think that those seals that Naruto placed up could hold it forever. As they had yet to truly release their power, the seals were going to break and the earth was going to be in danger. As they had to keep the fighting in that area, otherwise nations would be eradicated within seconds when they truly started the fight. Back towards the arena, as Naruto stood there, that was when his Byakugan started to activate. As a surge of power flooded through his core, Ishiki watched him calmly. As Naruto's eyes turned towards Momoshiki, before a black rod came in his hand. It was a staff. As Naruto then pulled back and tossed it, Momoshiki held out his hand as he released a pulse that blew the rod away, but at the last moment it split into 5. As they encircled him, a pulse of electricity came out of each, forcing him to jump back, but as he did, Naruto was behind him. As Naruto's palm rested in the flat of his back, this strike seemed subtle, but it was so much more than subtle. A pain expression came on Momoshiki's face as his body was thrusted into the ground, breaking it apart, actually ripping it up badly. As Naruto did not stop there as he rushed straight toward his father. Naruto pulled his fist before slamming it in Ishiki's. As Naruto pulled back and ducked under the swipe, Ishiki created a rod as he tried to send it towards Naruto's stomach. As Naruto gripped the tip of the rod, before yanking it forward and burying his fist in Ishiki's stomach. Ishiki leaned over before he reached and grabbed Naruto by his shoulder and pulled him down, smashing Naruto's face into his knee brutally. As Naruto staggered back, he jumped and raised his feet. His feet twist, bending space and time with the amount of power that he surged behind it to take Naruto out of the fight. As Naruto blocked it, boom, the entire barrier shook violently, the seals appearing as they withstood the force of that blow. As Naruto launched, clutching his arm over Ishiki's foot and yanking him, Ishiki shrunk himself. As Naruto released the force once again, the tiny Ishiki was launched violently before he crashed into the ground. Forced to get back to his original size, that trick could not work on Naruto. BAM! A brutal fist crushed his face as Naruto slammed his heel into his gut and knocked him in the air. Before flashing above him, Naruto held up his hand as a massive ball of condensed energy that seemed like it was about to erupt appeared, pulsing with red, uncontained energy. He dropped it. Ishiki's eyes narrowed as he felt something unnatural about this. This was not normal chakra that he could absorb. He had to flash away using his intense speed to dodge the attack, as Naruto cancelled it before he could hit the barrier. Ishiki landed. What the? He couldn't get to speak, as a massive wooden dragon exploded from the ground. It tried to swallow him, but he spun and slammed his heel into the skull, crushing it. But the dragon split as many spikes shot towards him. He created about 10 spears as he launched them down, breaking the wooden spikes. Momoshiki burst out of the dragon's throat, slamming his face in Ishiki's stomach. Ishiki keeled over as Momoshiki twisted and crushed him down to the ground. As Naruto appeared with a big ball of that condensed energy once again in just a flash, Momoshiki turned and raised his hand. As he tried to deflect it, he released an unnatural force that decimated the area, but Naruto's energy ball tore right through it and slammed into his side. Boom, he was thrown. The explosion crushed the barrier as it trembled, but backup seals activated. and reinforced the barrier as Momoshiki crashed right into it. As he slammed hard, Naruto appeared above him, about to drop his heel into his head. But Momoshiki looked up, his Byakugan switching for the slightest moment into a golden color. As several hands burst from the ground, forced Naruto to jump back, as spikes emerged from them trying to tear through his stomach. The moment Naruto landed, a brutal kick slammed into him, throwing him to the side. As he crashed into the barrier, Ishiki was back on his feet. Momoshiki picked himself up as he looked towards his shoulder as his entire left sleeve was torn off. His clothing was badly torn and his skin was blemish marks all over his body, which was slowly healing up as he snarled in anger. "Enough of this," he said. "I'll send the both of you to oblivion." As he held his hands up to the heaven, creating a massive destructive energy ball of darkness, swirling around was all the natures. Before he threw it toward the two of them, Ishiki held his hand up as a red energy started to form into the size of a small pebble. As he poured a lot of chocolate before he threw it right in the center. As the massive chaotic ball exploded outwards, throwing all of them away. When the dust and the smoke cleared, they were back on their feet. A crack then went off. Ishiki looked down as he saw his stomach. He dropped to one knee. "Damn it," he said. He looked back up. Naruto's feet cracked his nose to the side. "This is no time for resting," said Naruto as he grabbed his face and crushed the back of his head into the ground. As his foot was sticking up in the air with his head straight down the ground. As Naruto picked him up and spun and slammed him into Momoshiki, who was coming to intercept, using him as a bat and a ball before throwing the both of them away. As Naruto slammed both of his hands together before slamming his hand in the earth cracked as hot white flames emerged. The flames were unnatural as they went toward the two of them. Ishiki looked up. As Momoshiki jumped away, Ishiki was about to flee as well. But massive steel bars appeared on him from the irons that Naruto could summon. As he trapped him, the flames slammed into him. "What is this?" As he found that he could not absorb it. "What is this?" he says. He felt himself burning. "That's no normal flame, father," said Naruto, the disgust in his voice at the end of that word. "I picked it up from one of the many planets I visit while in my state of exile. And now these said flames are gonna burn you to oblivion." As Momoshiki stood there as he kept an eye on Naruto, he had abilities that prevent them from absorbing it. He had learned a lot, but that did not matter. The flames were blown away by an unseen force. As the dust started to clear, there he stood. But things had changed. His clothing was different. Ishiki had finally exited the body of Jigen, showing off his Byakugan and his golden bar eyes, the horn wrapping around his head as he was in a red cloak. It was red on the inside, white on the outside, black pants, as the Megatama markings were running down his chest. "Forcing me to push myself this far. You have truly gotten stronger, my son. But I'm afraid it does not matter, because it ends here," he says. He held his hands up as a mass of black rods started to form. He launched them in all directions as they decimated the barrier. The barrier was ripped apart as it shattered, the backups shattering as well. All of the houses had to move as the stands were destroyed. The area pelted. It was raining black bars, tearing everything apart. When the smoke and the dust finally cleared away, the two of them were nowhere to be seen as Ishiki then looked up when he saw a massive meteor with flames dropping from the heavens. As Momoshiki stood in mid-air, the meteor split into several different parts as he rained them down on Ishiki. Ishiki created two cubes that smashed into the meteor, crushing it, destroying the pieces like they were nothing. As Naruto flashed in front of him and slammed his fist forward, Ishiki caught it as he cracked a fist in Naruto's stomach. He blackhanded Naruto to the side. At this level of strength, you can't touch me. He appeared over Naruto and slammed Naruto's head into the ground. As he grabbed Naruto and tossed him in the air, a red beam was shot from his palm that slammed Naruto straight up in the sky. Momoshiki flew straight up towards Naruto as he flashed above him and cracked his heel in his head. As Naruto was falling like a bomb, Ishiki created a black rod to impale Naruto through the stomach. But all of a sudden Naruto's eyes shot open. As he spewed something from his mouth, Ishiki tilted his head just in time. But whatever it was, tear right through his horn. As the pointy end of his horn dropped right off. He snarled in anger as he turned to fist Naruto, but he was met with a massive lightning dragon that slammed into him. With a repelling force, he blew it away as sparks radiated over his body until Naruto flashed behind him, but he was prepared as he dropped several cubes up on top of Naruto, who caught all of them. The ground cracked and broke as Ishiki added more force to the cubes. He fired a rod that slammed through Naruto's stomach. Momoshiki landed there as he watched the two of them wail on each other as he started gathering his power. "No, my son," said Ishiki as he kept on applying pressure to the cubes, making them crush Naruto into the ground even more. As Naruto's stomach, a long black rod was right through it. Ishiki fired several more rods into Naruto's stomach as Naruto faltered just a bit. Before, he stared up towards his father. As Ishiki looked at him, "You still have a chance. Beg for forgiveness, and I might somewhat let you live. Somewhat rule beside me, as my subordinate. That is better than death, right? I can even let you keep that girl that you have here." As Naruto looked up with a snarl, "The day I beg you for anything is the day I die," he said, as his hands started to tremble, as he pushed his hands into the cube, actually breaking them. Ishiki moved, but it was too late as Naruto tore the first cube apart with his bare hands. As he roared to the heavens, all the rods shot out of him. Ishiki batted them away. Before Ishiki could attack Naruto though, he felt a monstrous buildup of power. The explosion was so cataclysmic. The whole planet shook violently, the heavens trembled, the raging waters vibrated even more, the skies screamed, darkness clouded everything. When the smoke cleared, "That's enough!" the demanding tone of Momoshiki came as he stood there in mid-air, looking different. He had ascended to a different state of power that he had ascended on his own. He did not need to absorb Kinshiki for this. The Rinnegan in his forehead was red. Just a simple red Rinnegan. 2 golden Rinnegan in his palm. His eyes was a split between red and golden. An absolute rage. Twisted look on his face. His hair was flying out in all areas. Red marks all over his body. His horns turned into like bull horns, extending behind him. "You two dare fight like you're alone in this matter. To not know that you're up against a god," he said. "You? God?" said Ishiki, as he shook his head. "That is a title that you can never claim. And this little game of ours has come to an end. And now I will end it." Ishiki shot towards Momoshiki as the both of them started to fight. The earth started to shake as the both of them broke through it, ripping apart the ground, creating tremors all over the land. But where was Naruto in all of this? Aizen and the several other Otsutsuki were in mid-air. Izon glanced up as he saw a red lightning straight down from the heavens, crashing on the ground. Massive pool of water exploding out, raging flame, electricity, the earth ripping apart. Momoshiki created a massive dragon. The thing had a head of a dragon and the body of a gorilla, but it had 4 arms. As the thing stomped the ground, Ishiki released a construction made from his rods. It was a humanoid being, its body made from his rods completely. As the creature started to fight, the two of them looking around, waiting for Naruto to pop back up, but they could not see him anywhere. In fact, no one could see him. Where the hell was he? Back at the Senju compound. Where's Naruto, said Mikoto, as she was looking all over the screen, as she could not see him anywhere. What's going on, she said. She turned towards Ursa. I don't know, Ursa said. Something was wrong. She could not sense Naruto. That explosion, that couldn't have taken him down. Where has he gone? As she glanced around, couldn't find him anywhere. She didn't understand what was going on. Where's Grandpa? Said Minma as he focused on the screen. As Ursa was getting angry, where the hell was he, she thought. She flew off, leaving the cube. Ursa said Cincinnati, but she was already gone. It didn't take her too long to arrive to the battle scene. That was tremoring all through the earth as the two beings fought, raging all over. But where was Naruto? She landed. Ursa, what are you doing here, said Izon. Where's Naruto? As Izon looked around, I've been wondering the same thing. He just vanished. Meanwhile, as Naruto opened his eyes confused, one moment he was about to release his full power to end this. The next he was here. Just what in the world was going on? The place was white, an empty white plain. It was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Where am I? I brought you here, said the voice. As he turned to see the king standing there, as Naruto was confused. I thought you were dead, he said. That was merely a show. A show, said Naruto. The king was a being that was different. He was not normal. He might have had a smaller frame when talking to his Otsutsuki members. But right now he was showing Naruto what he was. He was large. A single Jogan eye in his forehead. His body was made up of lines. He was blue and tall. Several orbs were floating around him. As Naruto realized that they were universes. The man's power was immense after all. His eyes were white, pure white. I was wondering, how exactly did Momoshiki plot your death? Without you finding out? Let me guess, you were behind it all, weren't you? As his voice came out but his mouth, well, he didn't have a mouth. Yes, that was me. Despite his stature and his power, he was relaxed. Naruto, do you know what I am? He said. What you are? Yes. Do you know what I truly am? The king of the Otsutsuki, said Naruto. No, not exactly. You see, Naruto, in the beginning, I was a black hole. As Naruto raised the eyebrow, none of you know the origins where I came. A black hole of emptiness, feasting, absorbing, gaining knowledge, power. Why do you think I know so much? Soon I gained sentience, and I then created a body for myself, a body of absolute power that I travel the universe in. But I realized that I was still this empty hole, so I created others like me. First, when I learned about the unification of marriage, I created a female. I gave her free will, an immense power like me. I wanted a companion. We spent centuries together, combing through the entire universe. A universe that I realize I can conquer, spread my influence all over, gain more knowledge, more power, things that would interest me. A universe I wasn't done with yet. But my wife, she wanted to move on. For us to keep on moving through, going into other universes, bypassing the boundary of this whole entire spectral. She wanted it to be just the both of us. Her mindset was a lot different from mine. The word love would come to mind when she think about me. I had passed the knowledge from what I had gained to her, so she understand the concept. But I wanted to spread my influence even more, to learn more. But from the things that she saw, she believed that this world was already rotten. So much plans of death and suffering. She wanted to start fresh, for us to create our own universe, using our power, for us to build something that we can call our own. But I believe that I could change this. I could fix this into the perfect world. But she was against this. Things did not went so well. And I said things. She left, opened her own universe. She told me to come when I've realized my mistake. But I was stubborn. After all, in the beginning, I was alone. A god. A being of immense power. Unknown to me, I had split my power so much. When I created her because I wanted her to be free. Not under my control. I gave her half of my own power. But over time, her power increased. So did mine as we learn and consume. And just like that, we were on the same level. So she was able to do things that I alone could do. But that just made her more amazing in my eyes. As his voice was booming in the ear as he spoke. But I believed that I could fix this world. I could change it. So I created others, not as powerful as me. I created, and the generations passed down. I created you all with free will, with me as your king. But a long time before you were born, the other races decided to come against me. They believe that I was not their true king, that I have no right to subjugate them. So, being the person I am, I decided to make them understand who was in charge. All of those planets that you Otsutsukis have been sent to are planets that oppose me, that believe that I am not in charge. I let it go on for a while, but there was something that was needed to fuel you people. So I gave the false hope of absorbing more and more. I let information slip for you all to surpass me, to become a god. Instead of the king that I was, I watched as the information drive some of you mad. Some of you tightly grasping to gain that power, trying to understand the concept behind it. While I pretended to not know, I watched it all. Because you know my eyes can see everything. I watched as Ishiki betrayed us. I knew that Kaguya was gonna leave. I knew that it was gonna be hard on you. I watched it all to see how things would go. Perhaps I was bored, and I wanted to find something to amuse me. So much time had passed, I believe, that she would no longer want to see me, so I did not go back there right away. I was upset with myself. And then you challenged Momoshiki. And I decided to watch where it was going. I did not interfere. I watched it all as you got banished. I knew that Momoshiki had been conspiring with several of my attendants to take me out of commission. They think they could have took me out with a poison Yes, something that would have naturally wiped out the entire population, but I am a god, Naruto. Such things don't work on me. So I fake my own death, leaving behind a false representation of my true body. I watch as Momoshiki ascend. I watch with vivid interest as you strangely fell in love with Kushina. And I couldn't understand. Despite everything, you were able to set aside your immense power. Set aside the being that you were, because to most, you are gods. But I could not. I couldn't understand why not. I watched you as your life went to hell when the involvement of your mother and father caused the destruction of your clan. I watched as you wreaked havoc across the universe. I watched as you shredded planets. I watched as you burned civilizations to the ground. You erase people's existence. You wiped away their future without even blinking an eye. Over the years, I've gained so much emotions from absorbing. I've come to understand the true meaning of everything. But you, on the other hand, you did. But you just did not care. I watched as you found out that you had a grandson. I watched as your life went so up that you wish everything would just remain like this. But you knew it would not last. I was watching everything. And you were able to show me that you could do something that not even I, a god, could do. Put aside your power. To realize despite your immense power, you don't have to be alone. Despite being a god, you don't have to be the one that always shoulder everything to change things to your well-being. You lived a normal life, which confused me, but at the same time, gave me what I needed to visit her universe, which she had created strives. She was different. She did not lord over them like a god. Instead, she united the people. She brought forward peace. She united them with love. I was confused when I got there. She said that it was me who gave her the information, all the knowledge of what love truly is, and that over these past millennia, she has never stopped loving me no matter what. She knew that I would come. It was just a matter of time. But I told her I had one last thing to, well, finish first. And that is meeting up with you. As Naruto looked up towards a god. So let me get this straight. There is no such thing as being a god. You plan all of this. You, the king, are actually the god of us all. Your power was so immensely stronger than all of us that there was no chance in hell, even if all of us were to stand beside each other, that we could beat you. Correct. As Naruto laughed, he actually laughed. You find it amusing? Actually, yes, said Naruto. After all this time, let me guess, you could tell that my future was going to take this path. Yes, from day one. Yes, I could see the movement of time. But I wanted to experience it fully, to see what you would do. But there are certain things that change, certain things. The future is never stable, Naruto. So, that is why. You looked upon me like I was one of your special soldiers. But you are, don't you see? You were able to do something that no other was able to do. Not even Urza. She might act like you. She might almost be the same, but you're different. You're willing to give up everything, your life, your power, everything, to make sure the ones that you love live. Urza would do it for you. She has come to love the people of Earth. But she would hesitate, but you would not. You're different. I was always hoping that one of you would make me proud. Show me that you truly deserve what I'm about to give you. What are you about to give me? Said Naruto. I'm about to give you this entire universe. What? Said Naruto. It all belongs to you now. The ability to be omnipresent, surpassing your limitations, becoming more than just a strong Otsutsuki, becoming a force of nature, becoming a being with love and compassion, and also power to boot, an unstoppable force. You're the only one that I can see using his power to bring forward peace and harmony, to do something that I was only able to do, set aside my rage and anger, to actually unify all of these worlds, just as she did in hers. As he raised a hand, his hand shrunk and tapped Naruto right in the chest. This is goodbye forever. With this knowledge, you won't have to take up the mantle as a king, because I know you don't want to. With this, you can change everything. With this, you can grow old. You've lived so long, and I know what you truly want. To spend the rest of your days with your loved ones, living and dying when your time is ready. With this, you can change it all. It's now up to you, Naruto, he said, as everything went white. Meanwhile, Momoshiki and Ichiki was bloody. The boat had been fighting, and they were ripping the entire earth apart. The place was a mess. Massive meteors all over the place. They had struck everything around them, tearing through the land. They were like two forces of nature destroying everything. The Otsutsukis had to move further up so they did not get caught up in the blast. On the other hand, Erza was on her knees, tears in her eyes. He was gone. He was actually gone. She searched the entire place, and she couldn't find him. She might have come to care about the others, even Guy, but none of them. If it was needed, she would sacrifice them all for Naruto. He has been with her since day one. Her best friend. The person that she confided in just the most. But now he was just gone. How did he die? She did not know. And she could not understand. It was then that she felt a warm sensation. Meanwhile, at Konoha, the only person who was looking at the cube was Teiwan. The others were not. Mikoto was sitting by herself, tears leaking from her face. She did not understand. He was there one moment. How could he have just died like that? She didn't, as she felt a pain. She felt a pain that was just so unimaginable. She couldn't feel her legs. She couldn't move. She didn't know she was breathing. Her body was just there, but at the same time not. It was then that she felt a warm sensation, not just her, but the entire village. His presence, flooding through everything, but Mikoto felt differently. A loving, warm touch. Menma felt his grandfather touch. A soft feeling that made him happy to know that someone loved and cared for him. It was the same feeling that he got when he was with his grandfather, who took care of him since he was so younger. As Mito felt the same thing. She never truly felt love like this before. To know that someone cared about her. Someone that was there, her family. That fake father of hers never cared. He just used her for her power about this. Even Teiwaya felt it. As a smile came on her face, what was this feeling? Snatty felt her hands shaking at the emotions that rushed through her. As tears came to her eyes. As it was just so strong. Meanwhile, the battle came to a stop. As Urza felt a hand on her shoulder, an actual hand. When she turned, she looked up to see Naruto. As she was confused what was going on, he was still the same. He was not looking at her though as he walked past her. She reached out to touch him, but he was already far away. As she could not understand what was going on. As the two fighters came to a stop. I thought you died, my son. Although, it didn't make any sense that you would die by hate like that. Father, As Ichiki looked towards Naruto as he saw something. He narrowed his eyes in confusion as he felt something off. What happened to you? I've changed. I'm no longer the Naruto that you knew. I've become something else. Something that you wouldn't understand. No, no, no. Don't tell me. You're a god now. You became the Otsutsuki god. How? How is that possible? What did you do? I'm afraid you will never achieve this, said Naruto. But I will end it all. Ishiki rushed forward, but Naruto raised his hand. Goodbye, he said. Ishiki stopped as he looked towards his hands that were slowly disintegrating. No, stop this, he said as he rushed towards Naruto, but he was gone. Momoshiki stepped back as he swallowed thickly. You, said Naruto. The fighting is over. You are a plague that will continue to try and face me if I let you live. Despite you unable to do so, but still, I will not allow it. Momoshiki started to burn from the inside as he could feel his body slowly disappearing. He screamed, but his screams were gone in silence as he was just gone. Kinshiki and Kenji followed right after. The Otsutsukis all landed as they were confused. As they looked towards Naruto, had he ascended to a god? My people, said Naruto, I have surpassed the limitations of what we used to be. But I will not control you with it, said Naruto. In fact, it's over. Our race, main mission to go out. Absorb, collect. The king is gone, and there will not be another one. Murmurs start to burst all around. Your houses are free. Go in the state that you want. Live free. Be free. There will no longer be someone controlling and watching over your every actions. The rumors of the way of becoming a god is all lie. None of you can achieve this state of power. Our king was not dead, he blessed me with this. Let me show you, said Naruto. He snapped his fingers and memories followed in their head. Instantly, they were surprised. What? It was all lies, said Aizen. Yes, indeed so, said Naruto. As Ursa was speechless and shocked. So, what are you now, Aizen said. I'm still Naruto, he said. Hey, what about we? What do we do now? That is up to you. Up to us? One of the Otsutsukis asked, what do you mean up to us? You're no longer under my control. I'm giving you something that he never gave you. Complete and absolute freedom. So go and be free. With this knowledge, I came to understand that peace would never always be a thing. It doesn't matter what. The only way I can ensure true peace is to eradicate everything and start over. But I will not do that. This world is a world I understand, and the world that many of you do as well. This planet is forbidden to be ever touched or harmed. But know that you have your freedom. The rule of sucking planets dry is now forbidden. That is my only decree. There shall be no more of that. I will be able to know if I feel a planet dying. I will instantly erase any one of you that caused it. That is my only rule. What about the other planets out there? What about the individuals that want to kill us? I will take care of it, said Naruto. I am going to make change. Not just for us, but everyone else. So you all can leave now. Return to your families, friends, loved ones. Do as you must. Live. Experience life. Without being a soldier. Experience peace. I assure you it's a wonderful thing, said Naruto. As they looked at him, I wonder if he was sure. But he turned his back. I guess we should be free. They were always given rules, orders, things to do. So this was new to them. Most of the lower houses were, well, more like branch members of the Hyugas. But now they were all free to do as they please. Something they never thought they would ever get in millennia. As most of them flew off, as Naruto turned, Ursa started to walk beside him. What now? She said. There's no need to be afraid, said Naruto. I'm still your friend. And I'm still in here. Tell Mikoto and the others. One day. I just need one day. And everything will be fixed. And with that, Naruto dematerialized out of nowhere. As Aizen stood there looking at her confused. So we're free now. Like, no more going out and sucking plants dry. Seeing that it was all a lie to begin with. Yeah, I guess so. And no more have to put up with other Otsutsukis. We can actually leave the planet and go and live somewhere else. Huh. Never thought this day would actually come. Well, you think he's the same? I don't know, said Ursa. What about you? She said. He shrugged. Time skip. Mikoto did not understand. He became a god and he just vanished? Saying that he will be back in one day. A day had passed and he was not back yet. She was starting to get worried as she was sitting on top of the monument, hoping that he would just appear. Hoping that he would just appear out of nowhere. That would make her so happy. But it was not to be as night started to come. She released a sigh as she started to get cold. It was then that a warm blanket was placed over her, surprising her because she didn't feel anyone behind her as she turned to see the smiling face of Naruto. Naruto? She said. As she couldn't believe it, she leaped and hugged him as he caught her in his arms. She pulled back instantly and placed a kiss on his lips, pouring out all of her passion and happiness. Pouring it all out. As she couldn't believe it, he was here. He was actually back. Tears in her eyes started to pool down her cheek. As she did not separate until a long, good minute. As she had to take a breath. I thought I would never see you again, she said. As Naruto smiled. Don't worry. I promised I would come back home. And I will. I will always come back to you. She did not get off him though. As she just wrapped her arms around him, he held her up. Thank you, she whispered in his ear. As she held on to him as he held on to her. Time skip. You did what? Said Ursa. As Aizen stood there as well. I removed most of my life force, said Naruto. Why? She said. I have lived a long life. Experienced a lot. This time, I don't want to survive the death of my grandson by old age. So, you're gonna die when you're... Well, like a human, she said. Yes, said Naruto. Figure you'd do something like this. As Naruto raised an eyebrow. Told you, Aizen said. You two bet on this, said Naruto. Well, considering how much you love that woman. We always know that you just want to live out your life. After all, you did this before. And losing someone that you grow so close attached to, well, it's hard. After all, you know why most Otsutsukis do not create relationships out of the clan. After all, you have to watch your significant other die. Seeing that we live for so long. So yes, we believe that you would do something like this. I hope you still have that godly power left inside of you. As Naruto raised an eyebrow in her proclamation. Because I want you to do it to me as well. You don't have to because... No, it's not that, she said. Look. If you're gonna die, I'm gonna die as well. Well, not like just die like this, but by old age. Not to mention, there's nowhere else left for me to go. I'm gonna spend the rest of my life on this planet. I've grown to have a family here, friends, and not to mention an awesome lover. As Naruto eyebrow twitched at that. That is why. I want to live my years out when it's planned. And just, well, die of old age for once. Although I'll get wrinkly, she said. But still, it's a good way to go out. After all, you free our entire clan. Now things are different. Most of them have left. Gone to experience the universe. No longer bound to stay. No longer given time frame when to return. They can live their life and experience others outside of our clan. As Naruto nodded, he was glad that she wasn't doing this because of him. As Naruto glanced towards Aizen, or looking at me, Aizen said, I was wondering what you were doing here, said Naruto. Come on, I'm just visiting. Besides, you seem to have somehow lost that godly power. I mean, where is it? Oh, it's gone now. Where? I use it to set my law in motion. I use it to change a lot. Then I released it. You release all that godly power? Are you crazy? Don't worry. No one will get their hands on it. I don't release it in the way that you might think I did. But I don't have it anymore. So, that means I can kick your ass, said Aizen. You know I still possess my same original power, right, said Naruto. Come on, tell me, what exactly did you do with it? As Naruto simply smiled. Meanwhile, far out in space was a beam of just pure white light. A beam that was gonna interfere this time. A god that was gonna make sure that certain plagues, certain things that could be avoided, were stopped. A being that was created by Naruto to keep everyone in check, to stop any Otsutsukis from crossing the line and doing what they were told not to do. A being of absolute, a being of nature and force. Time skip. Years. A lot of years has passed as we find a certain blonde man making his way. He was old. His blonde hair had a lot of streaks of white in it. As he was currently making his way, there was a woman beside him with lavender hair. Beautiful lavender hair that showed white, gray streaks in it. Her eyes still as clear as before. These two people were none other than Menma and Hinata, who have grown old over the past couple of years. It has been a while. The village had changed as a motor vehicle passed them. The elemental nation had changed. The world had evolved into something different. For the past couple of years, there has been no war, no plagues, no unnecessary chaos. The world had been at peace. So people start to focus on different things. Technology. Different things to keep the elemental nation running. As they turn it into a modern society. The world had changed a lot. And everyone had gotten old. Well, the ones that were there back then. As Menma glanced towards his beautiful wife, still as beautiful as the day that he met her, he thought to himself, with a smile. She noticed him smile and she smiled back. As the both of them made their way. As they arrived to the house, the peaceful looking cottage, where there was a few people gathered. They were greeted as they went inside. As they saw him, Grandpa, said Menma. In the bed there was an old man. His hair flaky and white. He was dying. Menma, my boy, is that you? The raspy voice of Naruto came out. As Menma took his grandfather's hand and held onto it with a smile. As he looked towards Hinata as well. Ah, Hinata-chan, he said. I hope you two are doing well. We're the ones who's supposed to be asking you that, said Hinata. The man chuckled as he turned into a fit of cough. Don't worry, he said, I'm fine. Well, not actually. Seems like it's my time. A look came on Minma's face. Come on now. I've lived a wonderful life. And it's time for me. Bring everyone in. I can feel the end is near. Several individuals were called inside. As Naruto looked over, Naruto, he said, Himawari, these were the children of Hinata and Minma. They have grown into fine youngsters. Well, they weren't babies anymore, or kids either. After all, Boruto had his own little son, who he named Minato, after his father. Himawari had 2 kids, 2 girls. They grew up so fast. As they smiled towards him. Don't be sad now, he says. He saw the look on their face changing. Well, this isn't really a happy mood. We're all gonna miss you, said a voice. As behind them, someone else walked in. It was an old man with red hair. And an old woman as well. These were Konan and Nagato. As Naruto gave them a smile. As they were with their 3 sons. They had 3 boys, who were now fully grown adults, as Naruto had gotten to know them over the past. As they all came over and placed a hand on his shoulder and gave him a smile, knowing that this would be the last time they would ever see him, as he smiled back at them as best as he could. But it wasn't them alone. Several more people entered. One of them was an older Itachi Uchiha, followed by his son and his grandson, and his granddaughter, and his wife, the snake mistress, Anko. Their relationship was a strange one. Well, Naruto didn't see how they got together, but the 2 of them had strong feelings for each other, and it was sweet, as all of them greeted him with a smile. Pearson and Snatty and Jiraiya had long passed. After all, when Naruto released most of his vitality, he was not actually that old. He was still in his late 20s. That is the reason that he saw many of them pass along. Mikoto, his love of his life, also passed away as well. Yes, she was older than him after all. Well, in terms of human age, seeing that he began at late 20, she was older than him. But he enjoyed every single moment with her. Everyone was around him, everyone was there. Hanabi was there as well. She had 2 daughters with Konohamaru. Ursa came in. As she gave Naruto a smash, he sat at the edge of his bed. As Guy followed. Naruto-kun, said Guy, it seems your flame of youth is still bright as ever. As Naruto tried to chuckle, but his voice was too weak to do so. He could feel it, Dane was near. Well, Guy, it seems like your flame is still as bright as ever. Kakashi followed, along with Rin and their boy. They had 1 son, who went on to have triplets. They just grew so fast, and now they were already adults. Well, a lot of time has passed. As for Ursa and Guy, Ursa gave Guy a happy family. 5 kids. And those kids went on to have more kids. And they had a swarm. As the rest of them, all of them came in. As they see Naruto as their uncle after all, which he was to them. As Naruto looked at all of his family members, they were all here. As he smiled, Teiwaya had gotten old. She had kids with Kiba, 2 of them. Karen had fell for Sasuke, and they had 3 kids. As Naruto watched as all of them came in, as Ursa looked down towards him. I'll meet you soon, she said, as she gave him a smile. As she rested her hand on him, she could feel it. As Naruto gave her a final wink, before he turned towards everyone else. This is all I ever wanted, he said. With all of you here, all of you have given me the most wonderful life I could ever imagine. And I just want to thank you all. Stay strong. Love each other. Family, bonds, friendship. That is the only thing that really matters. Protect each other. Keep each other safe. I love you all, he said. As Ursa saw his hand slipping. We love you too, Naruto. The choruses came out as all of them spoke. As he smiled. A final smile. He's gone, said Ursa. A few of them started to cry. Some of them trying to be strong. He wouldn't have wanted them to cry after all. He lived a wonderful life. As Naruto blinked as he looked around. He just died. So was this the afterlife? Yeah. And I've been waiting for you for quite some time now. As Naruto turned at that sweet voice, the moment he turned, he caught her as she jumped right in his arms. As Mikoto hugged him, as he hugged her back. Thank you for waiting on me, he said. I will always wait on you, she said, as she gave him a passionate kiss. Before he let her down, he realized he was back in his youth. So, we're in heaven. We're at peace, she said, to spend all the rest of our eternity. As he took her hand and she took his, as they walk off into the bright light. But guys, I'm being in this episode right here. And yes guys. No. Oh, sorry about that guys. It was Mage Naruto trying to intervene, but I blocked him. This story was just too sweet for him to intervene. I wanted him to have a wonderful life. Well, he seemed to have gone into another story. Huh. He has gotten quite a lot of Narutos on his road to help kill me, it seems. Well, soon, he'll be coming after me. Huh. Well, that'll be fun. But guys, yes, this is coming to a final end. I hope you have enjoyed everything. And I just want to say thank you once again. And yeah guys, peace.